Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on? We're sitting here April 24th, the end of April.
End of April.
May is upon us. Spring, blooming.
Sort of here-ish.
It's
Depends
here.
on the day.
Depends on the day in New York, but I'm sure everywhere else people are.
It's funny. I feel like people are like on edge for that good weather. They're like,
just get me
they're
in.
not getting on a cusp of it.
Yeah.
Like, just like we're ready to be turned into the summer vibes.
I know. You want to put those shorts on. I know in the Midwest they've had the shorts on since February.
Yeah.
But this is, we're almost there. But I do feel the energy of the city. It is definitely popping, as the kids say.
Yeah.
People are out. I've been seeing it. Last night I did the cellar and I walked by the Spaniard. The Spaniard's like my thermometer for the city.
For like the vibe.
Yeah, are people out? That's the vibe check. And it was busy on a Wednesday or Tuesday night, busy, and I walked by at 11:30 at night. Like, so
right, people are
you
having
couldn't
sex.
get people are fucking.
Okay.
People couldn't get a seat at the bar.
Okay.
As I peered in the window, that's me. If you're at the Spaniard, that's me looking through the window. Checking
writing it on down in your notebook.
Right.
Check.
If you see a notebook that says, yes, they're fucking.
Yes,
that's me. Checking my list, checking it twice.
Or do you actually go there? Or do you just
I go there, but I always look. I'm always looking.
Yeah.
It's like a woman's ass. Always got to check it out.
Always.
Most of the time.
Respectfully. I'm
Respectfully.
Sure. Yes.
A glance.
You know, a glance is a glance.
On the sidewalk, rando. Just a quick turn of the head.
Would you do that if you were with someone?
Probably. Yeah, I
That's an instinct, yeah.
It's just, it's in my blood. Big dog got eat. And
that's what you would
right,
say.
dog pound? Where's my dogs at?
That's what you'd say to your...
Where's Jorge when I need him?
It's gone.
Jorge's gone.
Gone.
For those of you who didn't get to the end of that episode.
Jorge's gone.
Jorge's gone. He's moved on. Bigger and better things. We miss you, Jorge. But I think checking someone out with your partner's a fun thing to do. I think that's hot. Don't you?
I think it depends on like the mood of the evening. You know.
I told you to take out the trash. Check out that chick.
Right. Is it like a playful mood? Are we in a playful vibe? Yes.
You're at dinner. You're dressed up.
No, I'm dressed up. I want to be looked at. I don't want others to be looked at.
Right. Well, and then someone walks by. Man or woman, I listen. It doesn't matter to me. If you said if a guy walked by on a date and you were on a date, you would go look at his. Would you go? What a good looking couple. Would you ever do that?
A couple, maybe more than a guy. I feel like you would never mention the guy. I feel like wouldn't you think it'd be rude if you were on a date and the woman you were with was like, that guy's hot.
He'd have to be hot.
It'd have to be like really.
He'd have to be if he's like model-esque. If Tyler Cameron walked by, it couldn't be on the line. It couldn't be like, I look at that guy's
like he's
elbow.
your taste. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I it's got to be factually
out of the person's league.
Yeah, right. Right. I guess that's the barometer.
Right.
If they're out of your league, you can say whatever you want about them.
Or what if the waiter was hysterical? She was like,
this guy is
so funny.
Well, if I thought he was funny too, if he's waiter funny,
okay,
like if he's like doing bits about the menu, I'd be like, this guy is great.
Okay,
he is great.
You'd be fine with it.
It would have to be waiter specific. It couldn't be like, did you hear about his thoughts on the Middle East?
That's what I'm saying. It's about the vibe. Let's say she wasn't laughing at like a single joke you had. A waiter comes by, she's hysterical. That's the equivalent.
I've had this happen.
Insulting?
Oh, so insulting.
That's
well, this happened because a friend of mine, I think I told this here. Friend of mine, their friend didn't follow me on Instagram, but like they're like a close friend.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, maybe they just don't like comedy. And maybe they just haven't thought of it. And then I did like an after party for the New York show. We're all hanging out at a bar after the New York show I did.
Yeah.
Friend comes.
Laughing.
No, Nimesh Patel, former guest on the show, shows up. She goes, I follow him on Instagram. He's so funny.
Oh, okay.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I was like, oh, she hates me. This person doesn't like me.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? I'd be insulted. Well, I would go, what the fuck? Why are you strong-arming me? What do you must have a personal thing against me?
Well, it'd be like if you were on a date with someone, she's all dressed up, you haven't complimented her, and then you see the woman, and then you're like, beautiful woman.
Yeah, I guess.
And you're like, oh, he's just not like a compliment.
Well, to me, that would say that I have bad self-esteem. Like, I would be like, oh, that would be like negging a woman. To not say, you look beautiful tonight when she pulls up.
That's what I'm saying.
It is a self-conscious thing. And then to see another woman go, whoa, someone brought it tonight. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
That means you don't like me. That's why I knew that woman didn't like me.
That's what I'm saying. That's about like it's all about the context.
Totally.
In terms of hot or not.
How do you say, how do you talk about another,
right?
In terms of like
you have
whether
to be
you
the
can
kind of
compliment.
person who comments on that.
Right.
Though.
That's why I look at every woman I see
so that you're
from day one.
You're laying the groundwork
right. I make sure.
For the guy who makes those comments.
Right. You can never be surprised. As long as I'm checking asses out on day one, I'll be checking asses out on day 50. I'll be checking asses out when we're 50 years old on our
80?
porch. Oh, 80. Kane.
Chasing.
See that woman's ass?
In the retirement home?
Looking at my wife.
I see that.
Right?
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes I feel like I'm the Joker on this show. Like I'm the
Well, you're the comedian.
The anti-hero. You know what I mean? I'm Taylor Swift. Like sometimes because I say the thing, I can see someone's like rolling their eyes. They're like seeing this on YouTube. They're like, what a piece of shit.
Is Taylor Swift the anti-hero? I was thinking about Taylor Swift recently because
what were you thinking about?
She released her new breakup album.
So is it a breakup? I mean, it's a double album.
Right.
This woman is working harder, never stops
Still has
writing.
Time to get to the Super Bowl, though.
Right.
Yeah. She does it all.
She really does. She must really work well on planes. I can't get any work done on a plane.
Yeah.
For her, that's got to be her quiet space to do stuff. I would imagine she's really good at getting stuff done on a plane.
Well, the other thing I think you have to remember about these celebrities is like they outsource every single other thing besides the thing that makes them $1 billion. So like she doesn't have to worry about doing anything else. Picking up her dry cleaning.
Having an assistant is probably the most underrated thing. I guess like, it's just not talked about enough that what an assistant does to make you literally have 4 other arms. But I'm saying just an assistant.
2 assistants. Yeah.
I remember I got into an argument or not an argument. I went on the Today Show. It was the 3rd hour of the Today Show. It was when I first started. I used to go on in the Guys Tell All segment. Remember that? And what's her name? It was Hoda and Kathy Lee. Mm-hmm. And I remember watching how Kathy Lee and did I tell you the story that she got mad at me?
No. What?
I was never brought on again.
Okay.
During the commercial.
Did you tell her Hoda was so hot? Look at her ass.
Check out Hoda's ass. No, that's not how it ended. But now, now I got to find out what Hoda's ass looks like. I went on in the commercial. So they had on this guy from The Voice he was this crooner.
Okay.
He was this like Italian kid. You can look him up. His uncle Vito would hold a cigar. It was actually offensive to Italian people. If you really looked into it, he was like 19.
Right.
So he was pushing The Voice. He was on The Voice. Mm-hmm. And it was me, him, another guy, and another guy representing all, the whole spectrum of single men. And I remember those segments sucked because they didn't go, Jordana, Jared. They wouldn't give you a turn. You just had to get involved.
Right.
And if you didn't get involved, you said nothing.
Okay.
So
that would be bad for me.
Right. Right. You really got to elbow your way in.
Yeah.
So I remember when the first time I went on, I didn't say a word. I didn't know. And I just didn't say a word.
Smiling.
I was just on TV.
I'm on.
Right. That was me.
Yeah.
Didn't get asked back for a year. And then they brought me back. And finally I was emailing because I just want to go on TV. I want to, maybe it'll help me out. They had me back and I had one where I went on and I was like, I'm not shutting the fuck up.
Okay.
So I went on there and really sing, dance, and dust. I really went wild. And I was like, nailed it. So then they brought me back a week later. Now I'm next to this guy. What's his name?
The Voice guy.
It's The Voice guy. Just look up The Voice Italian kid uncle. It was actually like insane that this, like, they got away with this. Like, the uncle was like always referencing the mob. So
everyone's Uncle Vito's
I'm next to
on
this
The
guy,
Voice.
but they're pushing him. So they don't want me to talk. I'm on
What's the
Team
subject?
Jared. Whatever it was, and I could feel that they were like, whatever he said, they were going to get him more involved because they're pushing The Voice.
Right.
So we break for commercial in the middle of the segment. They go, we're going to come back with the guys tell all. And then Kathy Lee goes up to the crooner kid, and he's like, yeah, I like to bring a girl to the back of my Chevy, go to Lookout Point. Like, he's talking like he's from the 20s.
Okay.
Like, he's like, actually, it was the dumbest. Like, I couldn't tell you how fake this whole kid's act was.
Okay.
And then Kathy Lee comes over and is like, you guys are doing great. This is so wonderful. She's like, it's your birthday coming up. And he goes, yeah, I got my birthday coming up. I'm turning 21. You know, I'm going to go to Lookout Point. He's doing the whole Italian
Is he actually
shtick.
turning 21?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's during the commercial break. And Kathy Lee looks at him and goes, it's my birthday coming up too. And I butt my way in. This is during the commercial. I go, couple of kids turning 21.
Okay.
And she goes,
That's funny.
She goes, are you calling me old? Like, not wanting,
Oh, wow.
not budging.
Okay. Not laughing at that.
No,
Okay.
didn't think it was funny at all. Thought it was actually mean.
How old was she at the time? 50?
She's not 22. She's 800.
Right.
You know, like, she also looks great. This isn't to say, like, you're not turning 21. That's the
Right.
joke. It's a stupid
Yeah.
joke. I agree. I'm not that funny. But I go to her.
She found it offensive.
Took the road of fuck
Well,
off.
now you know what her insecurity is.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then literally literally looks at me and goes, you calling me old? And then she goes, all right, we're back. And like, we go back to the show. And I'm sitting there like, oh shit. Like, I'm rattled.
Yeah.
And I remember she didn't talk to me the rest of the segment, never invited back.
Wow. You're blacklisted.
Blacklisted, gone from the Today Show third hour. And I remember thinking
You're on
in
the
that
terrorist
moment,
watch list for
never to be seen again.
Kathy Leonota.
But I remember, like, I was so upset about it because I was like, you couldn't have just gone with me. And it's like, she doesn't go with anybody.
Right.
This is Kathy Lee's show. Kathy Lee had an assistant from the time she was Regis and Kathy Lee to like till death.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, when you have an assistant, you are the queen of your manor.
I mean, that's
you-
someone who's employed to just make your life easier.
You have no dry cleaning, no pick up the kids, no grocery shopping, no, and you go, and it's like, oh, that's why, you know, the idea of like laugh along with the stupid joke, you know, Chubby Juice said on your segment.
You don't have to do that.
No, you don't do that shit.
Right.
Fuck it. Fuck him. So,
Which brings us back to
Taylor Swift. Did you find out? What's his name? Goomba Italian Johnny Vito Corleone? Breadstick Garden, Olive Garden?
Yes, that's it. Got it.
It was offensive. I'm being offensive because it was so weirdly like shtick.
The Italians are going to come for you.
You gave the wrong show, but I understand why you gave the wrong
What was it,
show.
American Idol?
It was America's Got Talent, but his name is Sal the Voice Valentinetti.
Sal the
that
Voice.
sounds right.
Yes. I'm going to take my girl to Lookout Point. I was like, what are you? Ralph
Lookout
Malph?
Point
What is
crazy.
this shit?
Yeah. That's nuts.
Well, they featured him because they were pushing America's Got Talent. That was like the NBC show. But yeah, but so Taylor Swift.
Anyway, Taylor
I'm sorry,
Swift.
I went on a tangent, but
No, you're all good.
that story pisses me off to this day.
She got a breakup album, I think.
We share a cannoli.
Candace, what's the reaction to the Taylor Swift album?
This is
getting.
pre-Jordana talk shit on Taylor Swift.
I love Taylor
She's
Swift.
testing the waters.
I just want to know what the internet's saying before I could decide to agree or disagree.
I
with
think
them.
everyone, like, I think I've seen a lot of TikToks on the subject of like anything said to a Taylor Swift fan, they're like, no, they like scream
Right.
over you.
Yeah. They're-
But I listen, I tried for the first song. it takes me a minute
It's all
to
right.
get to
Yeah,
Taylor
I need
Swift
to hear a
stuff.
song like 20 times before I
Right.
like it. But I liked Midnight's a little more. What's the internet vibe?
It was mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews. Okay.
Yeah, because of I think people were surprised and expecting more about Joe than Maddie. And then the like Travis mentions in it for the guys that are
Oh, there's a lot of
involved.
Maddie mentions.
Who's Maddie?
He was
References.
like the neo-Nazi that you
Jared,
dated.
I literally commented this on your post. It's too late. You had a year to figure out who Maddie was.
Right?
We're
He
not
was like,
explaining
that was like
anymore.
the neo-Nazi.
We've moved on.
We went on Come Town.
Yeah, the lead singer of the 1975.
Yeah.
It's like if
Okay.
you weren't on Tumblr
But he
a
was like
decade
a
ago,
collector of like Nazi memorabilia or something.
Hey.
it's like it's too much to go back.
Where
to.
are we? This is. I feel like the world. We went on a different timeline the minute Kathy Lee yelled at me.
Now we're back in. We're back in.
No,
another,
but for the
another
tortured
era.
poets department, there's various jokes going on right now. Like there are a few songs that people are grabbing onto, but there are some people that were after a few days. I saw Swiftie celebrating online that like all the bandwagoners that were just jumping onto the Eras Tour popularity are like leaving her alone now because this might not be the album for them.
All
She
the
said
all
that.
the
That's her response.
No, that was like the
That's the response
like
of
the
the internet.
Swifties that are tired of like bandwagoners jumping on to Taylor
We don't
Swift and
get
making
it.
it a personality.
Oh,
Which
that
is
means
funny
they think it
because, like, what
sucks
are
too.
They're like, this is Taylor's "fuck you" to everyone who
Right.
wasn't a diehard fan in 2007.
Right. This.
I feel like if you guys had a Tumblr in like 2011, you'd get it. But maybe not.
No, I get it. There's people who have been like there's people who've been like diehard Taylor fans since it was not that cool.
Oh
to
no,
like
I
Taylor
literally
Swift.
meant like you'd get the album if you had a Tumblr back then. It was a dark time for all of us.
Oh, you'd get the album. Okay.
I think with Taylor, like, listen, it's hard to like. I appreciate the talent and the hard work and the just the size of it. What did you think?
Again, it's going to take me a few more listens to get into it. It's not my. There was no songs that I was immediately like, I need to play this 6 times.
It's a lot of songs.
It's a lot.
It's 30,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, who's listening to 30 songs?
A lot of people, but
Right.
like not me. Yeah, Candace.
Candace.
Oh,
Yeah,
Candace
yeah.
is listening. Did she spill any tea? What is the
Well,
most controversial lyric?
The one is Charlie Puth should be more famous, which I agree with wholeheartedly. I'm a big Puth fan.
That's the tea that was spilled?
Wasn't that a big part?
I mean, that wasn't really tea. That was just like Charlie Puth potentially catching a stray out of
Oh,
nowhere.
I thought he was getting puffed up.
Was he?
To me, it sounded like her and Travis. That was something they talked about. Travis likes Charlie Puth. She likes Charlie Puth. They think he should be more famous than he is, and I would agree with that.
I don't
think
care
he's
about that. I mean, like the relation, the ex. I want to hear if she's
Sorry.
talking shit about the ex. Like,
Sorry,
where is she?
my positivity about Charlie
I
Puth.
don't
You're like,
give a shit about that. No.
What heads were chopped
Yes,
off?
I want to hear about the. Yeah, that's what when I'm like the tea. I'm like, who is she shaming publicly? Besides Kim Kardashian, I heard something about that. The
Yeah,
men.
there
I want to
was-
know about the exes.
Right.
Yeah.
Who
There's
got
the
fucked?
Kim song. There are songs that are alluding to Joe where it just seems like he was just sad all the time. And that seemed to be the consensus.
so
Like
she's-
this relationship is that was the
She's
relationship
selling
she was
out
in
Joe's
for like
clinical depression.
well, she was in that for like 6 years where it's like
Okay.
if that's not really like moving, then it's like you can see how somebody would be upset about that later.
Right.
But then for the Maddie stuff, that just seems to be like the throwaway situationship that you like went down that rabbit hole. But she went after quite a few people in that one. There was the reference to like her parents and her fans like just caring too much about what she's doing.
Okay.
Like, did you hear the lyric where she's like, I'm gonna have his baby?
Who?
And then
Whose
she
baby?
was like, I think that one was about Maddie, but she was like, no, I'm not, but you should have seen your faces. And there are all these TikTok reactions where people were like, what? Where they thought she was pregnant. And then it was just like no, go fuck yourself and leave me alone.
She knows more about the fervor for her than she kind of puts on. Like in the songs, it feels like she's like acknowledging the fans, and then like out of the songs in the public eye, it's like, who, me?
Right.
I'm famous?
Well, her relationships aren't just relationships. It's like it's her, the person, and everybody else that's like jumping into it with them. You know,
Right. I mean, I think
Well,
she's
yes,
the
the
most
whole world is involved in the
right, but she's the most relatable artist and songwriter to the largest group of people who would be interested.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so like she represents, and I don't mean this to be mean, but she represents the woman from a suburb outside of a city whose parents have some money, who
All of the basic bitches.
never feels seen. And that's every woman. That is a lot of women. The
I
idea
relate to
that,
that,
like,
yeah.
right, like I
Yeah.
have no problems, but you don't know how many problems I have.
Well, I have
Everyone
no problems.
thinks I got
but-
it all, but no, you don't know. That's a big group of people to relate to.
I mean, that's not everyone.
It's a lot
an
of people.
extent, right?
Everyone's the star of their
like,
movie.
you know,
Everyone was
right.
bullied. Everyone was. You should have seen
Had
me when I was
someone-
younger. I was chubby. I had it was so hard. Everyone wants to believe that, and a lot of her tales are in the land of like, You don't know how hard this was.
Well, that's why we love her. She's
Right.
She speaks for that side of people.
And everyone has those days where
Right.
you're like, I want to just sit. And you saw a lot of those TikToks too, where it's like, I want to sit with a blanket over my head
Right.
and listen in the rain.
Right.
And
feel
everyone
like,
has that day.
And like re-feel my pain from
Right.
before.
I want to, scratch at the itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I've done that with Taylor's music. She kills it.
Right. You better say that. They'll come after you.
She does, though. I mean, again, I'm getting a little Taylor fatigued as a fringe Taylor follower. And I think that's what I've also read is like, she's almost too overblown.
Well, it's not her; it's the fans.
Of course,
it's always. It's never. It's. I used to call it the Dave Matthews Band theory.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Matthews Band's a pretty good band.
I like Dave Matthews.
It's the fans you don't like.
Right.
You don't like.
I mean, they're not that active these days.
Right. It's a dated reference.
Back in like 2003.
Right. But if you're around our age, you know what I mean. Like
Dave.
that. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to a Dave
Dave
concert. Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Wearing my rainbow sandals to the Dave concert. Yeah.
Well, Petty or Prudent?
I'm that guy too.
Petty, a breakup album. Petty or Prudent? Let's bring it
Petty.
back. Petty.
Petty.
You think?
Yeah. I don't. It's all. I guess context matters and situations matters, but like. Depending on like
Depends how
how
specific you
horrible
get.
the person was, like what if it's to be outed that the guy was in a bad mood all the time? Like,
I mean, there are worse things one could say.
right? People pick it apart for her, but she also knows that's. I mean, when she does a line about "I'm pregnant," gotcha.
Right.
She knows they're gonna do that. So like, there's acknowledgement of that, which
I mean,
is
but it's
again
also-
a business decision too.
Well, this is also Taylor's job, so I'd say it's prudent. If you're not a singer-songwriter and you write a song about your breakup, more petty than this is. What is she supposed to write about?
If you dated a writer
Yeah.
and you broke up with them, broke their heart, would you expect a book to be written about you?
I'd be flattered.
Flattered.
No? Especially if they're good at what they like Taylor Swift.
And it's
I
a
think it's
takedown.
flattering. You don't think it would be flattering?
I can't.
You
would,
date Taylor Swift, she writes a song about you that a billion people are
Listen-
singing or screaming. I'd be like, oh my God, like that was meaningful.
right.
It's flattering. I mean, it depends how mean she was about you. But
Well, that's the thing. People don't pick out the good. They don't go, oh, he had some good moments and bad moments. They go, this piece of shit. No one looks at the good moments.
well, that's
to,
on
like,
those
pick
people though. It doesn't mean
Right.
Taylor didn't look at the good moments. She's writing about her experience, right?
Well, it's always a bad experience when it ends. The only
Right.
way it's good is if it's them on rocking chairs with me next to her looking at some woman's ass.
There's not that many songs about that because not that many people relate to it. Right?
What else is going on? Okay, in closing.
No, I haven't listened that intensely. I
well-
like to talk about things I don't know that much about.
My mic was off, but I was saying to close that out, do you have a favorite song?
What song should I listen to like 6 times so that I like it?
I mean, I thought I was fine at the time that I listened to it, and then I heard Love of My Life, and that really bummed me out. So I think that would...
Well, why did it bum you out?
It's just...
Give us a little
if you just like
you're
listen to the lyrics and everything. I'm still reeling from Cowboy Carter, so I still need time to finish this album.
Okay. You're not
And,
like emotionally ready for it.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing about Cowboy Carter. It's fun. Like, I when I see women with sheets over their heads crying in the rain, I go, I don't want to listen to that album. I need to be in the mood.
You have
Like,
to be, that's
Cowboy
a good-
Carter was like, hey, we're doing country. This is fun. Look at, I got
Right.
Dolly Parton involved. I got,
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. I'm like,
Well, it's not to
whoa, bring on the gang. This
that
is
album
great.
doesn't
You
feel
know?
as personal. I don't know. There's not also like there's less to speculate about Beyonce's life. She's been with Jay-Z for what? How long?
Well, it depends
Right?
on what type of entertainer you. To me, that's a decision on the type of entertainer you want to be. I think Taylor thinks or knows that my entertainment is people hearing my songs and seeing themselves.
Before we accidentally walk into the crossfire of the Hive versus Swifties, I'm going to close this out right now so we
Fine.
can move on to something.
Can
I'm just
they
gonna say- I just
both
wanna
be
say, though, that
successful
Be-
and
well,
wonderful?
I want to say that Beyonce's
They
album
can.
that was highly about her personal life, Lemonade, which is like my favorite album I think of all time,
Right.
did do that
That was a personal one.
for me, for her, and more importantly for me. So she has done that before, but I think there's less speculative stuff with, you're not like hyper examining Beyonce like you are, Taylor, these days. But again, both amazing. We don't need to go there, I think.
They're both a part of her story.
There you go. Look at my little feminist.
Look at that.
Love it.
Both of their fat asses.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Cut.
Sorry.
Next.
I lost myself. What else is going on with you? How's the house?
They're started on the outside, some stuff on the outside.
So the moat.
Exactly. We're building a moat to make sure everyone gets away.
Right.
Yeah, they started. It's crazy.
The
There's
outer
like
brim.
a patio.
The patio.
As they call
That's
it.
fun.
Yeah. I'll show you some pics when we're
I can't believe I have to wait
done.
2 summers to get in that pool.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's going to be ready. It's going to be worth it.
Cannonball. That's the
Can't wait.
first and last noise you'll hear.
What about you? Where you headed?
I'm on the road. On the road again. I'm sorry, Taylor. I didn't mean it. I love your music. I'm on the road just like you. I can't afford to pay my bus people $1 million each.
There you go.
That was a
Now you're on Delta instead.
Delta. Oh, I'm on the road. If you're listening, I need you. I want you. Pittsburgh and Columbus, come on. LA, please. New Orleans, do you exist? Dallas, I thought there'd be more people than there are. Nashville, we got some time. West Hampton Beach. It's doing pretty well.
That one's going to sell out.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you book?
The Kimosabi hat wearers are coming out for that one.
I ask you every week, did you book?
I haven't yet.
Did you book some
Someone
place to
offered me a
stay?
place, like a room in their house.
Yeah?
A fan.
Where do they
And
give me the address and I'll Zillow it and let you know if it's.
They said it's a condo. It wasn't one of those.
That's pretty close quarters for the stranger.
I did a heart, which is a thank you but no thank you.
Okay.
Borgata in Atlantic City, Newark, Cleveland. Just added Cleveland. So very excited to go to all those places, jaredfree.com. And now I'm like looking to tape this special, I think it's ready.
It's ready.
Yeah, it's ready. I've already moved on. I'm doing some material about the next thing.
Okay, you've moved on.
Wow. I'm starting to inch out of it. This is what us artists, Taylor, me, Beyonce, we move on to the next album.
Well, I mean, back to our original point. Is it petty to talk about it next in a stand-up set?
It's not petty, I guess.
It's not petty, but it's petty for Taylor.
It depends on how you do it. It's the same for Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, are you
making fun of yourself?
Are you self-deprecating? Is it about you?
What if you're making fun of both of them? Both you and them.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I guess in that context, I don't think it's prudent. I don't think you had to do it.
He kind of did. They're both they're both art. Personal
I've talked
art.
about breakups and
yeah,
special. I talk about breakups.
Yeah, no, I've heard you. I've heard them on the.
But
you talk about yourself, but you talk about the person. A little jokey joke.
A little jokey joke. I don't know. My intent is never. I guess her intent is not to reveal about herself. Now that I think about it,
yeah. I mean, all of this stuff says more about the person than it does about the ex in question.
I guess you can't. I don't blame Taylor. I blame the fans. People want when I said to you just now, you want which ex was embarrassed.
Yes, that is what I want.
It wasn't
give me the goods. Yeah, give me the goods. Give me the drugs.
Fuck Jake Gyllenhaal. That's no. I know what. That's
didn't
what people
show up
want.
to her 21st birthday.
He didn't.
That was in the 10-minute
I'm
version
a
of
noob
All
here.
Too Well.
That was what the 30-minute version was all about?
10-minute, yeah. 30 minutes. He didn't show up to her fucking birthday.
What a piece
He
of
said
shit.
he was coming. He didn't show up.
When I say I'm coming.
To the 21st birthday?
Oh, I
All right.
All right, let's do an email.
Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Go for it.
All right.
What are we talking about today?
I'm a fan, obviously, and appreciate the realistic yet empathetic approach you guys take. Moving on. Okay.
I like it. Efficient.
Love it. I was dating a guy and things progressively were getting better and better. I happened to faint one night and he helped me through it.
Oh! Faint. The word faint makes me think of.
It makes me think of like you put your hand over your head.
Why did that become?
I think it's like a thing from old movies.
Right,
where,
back
like,
of the hand to the forehead.
You'd like fall just like gracefully.
Yeah.
But it's not like drunk over your chair.
Yeah, a real fainting is not as pretty as film and
I'm
TV
sure
told us it was going to be.
A far less fuckable look.
Right.
So,
Oh, I would not want to see my face mid-faint.
same. But it freaked him out and pulled him back to his default overthinking mindset. Long story short, he questioned long-term compatibility, so he didn't want to invest. In my mind, you've got to invest first, at least somewhat, and then compatibility is something you develop as you go. What do you all think? Invest a bit and then find compatibility, or know you're fully compatible before investing? Is it preference? There's obviously a baseline.
Chicken or egg of dating questions.
Exactly. There's obviously a baseline getting along, but he can't even define what compatibility is to him. I have a trend of choosing avoidant partners. So could that be what this is? Anyways, we're now in a friends that date situation because we both really like each other still, but he doubts the potential too much to commit. Is him still wanting to date alone an indicator of compatibility? It's a mess.
This email's a mess.
This email is a mess.
Now
the situation is a mess.
Now they're just hooking up as friends who don't want to.
I like how she psychoanalyzed this entire thing to not mean like the very straight, simple thing of like, he is telling you he does not want to date you.
Right. And she's like sitting here for the whole show.
Right. Trying to like, that's the thing. Like, and I'm guilty of doing this too. It's like, you're like, if only I could figure out like what his psychological problem is. Like, we can work with this.
Right. It does feel like she's asking us for the magical spell that will get him to realize that compatibility comes after the spark. And, she's like,
and if he's going to do that, he's not going to do that with you.
Right. If you're playing word games to figure out what comes first, love or romance or what does she say? Compatibility versus investing. She's using new words for dating. Investing.
No.
She's like, you invest first, and that's how you figure out if you're compatible. I disagree with that.
Well, it does.
I don't think a lot of guys, I'll speak for me,
Sure.
Where it's like, I have said this on this podcast. I do think guys are more romantic than we're given credit for. The idea of like, that's the one. I knew it, that, the taxi light going on. And I walked in motivated, couldn't wait. We just did it's hard not to go ahead to the Matthew Hussey.
This is very in line with what we talked about with Matthew Hussey, who's going to be on our Sunday special.
Right. And he talks about meeting his wife and how they started. And, and he backs off and he tells his story, not to tell it for him, but like he backs off from investing because he doesn't see the compatibility.
Right.
And then he sees it. And I think that's like a guy quality in
it
a
is
certain
annoying
sense.
though, because I think there is something to like where I think women are just more open to like, let's date, let's like give it a shot, let's get to know each other, and then if you don't like want to marry me, like fine, but like,
and I'll blame you for dating me in the first place. Why would you even date me in the first place?
Not every woman.
Not every, but I'm saying that happens too.
But yeah, I get it. That sometimes happens, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And I do think there's like this sort of frustration where it's like, why can't you just be my boyfriend, get to know me, and then if you decide you don't like me, break up with me? Like, why won't you even
chop my head off? Yeah.
Why won't you even like give it a shot? And it feels like, especially in these situations where it's like, you like me enough to spend time with me, you like me enough to sleep with me, you're attracted clearly,
right?
Like, if all those things are happening, why don't you just like be my boyfriend and then break up with me if you get to know me and you don't like me? And I mean, like, this reminds me of the Julia thing. We had Dulce on also last week talking about a situationship where it kind of just feels like, if like these other things are there, why don't you just be my boyfriend and then break up with me if you don't want to be with me or don't want any of those things?
Here's the why is, let me see what this feels like. And then I don't think, for a lot of people, they know I'm not the type that gets more excited as things go on. What if this is only how it tastes?
I mean, that's not how it happened to spoiler alert, to Matthew Hussey.
Right, but I think he was motivated at the get-go. It's like, I'm talking about the beginning.
Right.
You know, I think you have to make this like mental, like, okay, I'm in. Like, and you don't do that. I've just never dated that way of like, well, they check a lot of boxes and this, you know, I don't think that's, and I've learned from experience of like these boxes can never become or just rarely become like that, you know, that thing in your stomach, you know, where you're like, I gotta keep going forward, you know, like
Right.
I think sometimes it feels like men Magoo their way into like relationships, like Mr. Magoo, you know,
Also.
where they just are walking along and oh my God, I kept walking on the
Now I'm in a
steel
relationship,
beam and
yeah.
now I'm in this relationship and thank God I kept on that steel. I don't know how I ended up
you
here, but
could
I'm
leave.
happy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's you see this on dating apps. So the feedback, you know, from a lot of men on dating apps that you see this that women will make fun of, and I don't think they're wrong to make fun of it, is I want someone who doesn't take things so seriously. You see men write that on dating apps
Yeah.
a lot. I don't want someone who's taking things so
We did a
seriously.
whole episode on this, yeah.
Right. And I think guys write this because they know the only way they're going to kind of like find their way in a relationship if it's so much. I just kept stumbling along in this fun thing that was light and airy, and then all of a sudden I'm here, I'm in it. And I don't know, there's some romantic to that. Like, and then you look
guess,
back
yeah.
and you go, this is, and when it's, you know, I think a lot of the people that write into this show, there's a plotted nature. How do I figure this out?
Right.
You know, and that's what this person's asking. This person's writing into us to go, okay, tell me it's nature versus nurture. You know, like looking for chicken or egg answers, which we can't give, you know?
We can't give. The only thing I can say is that continuing to date someone who tells you that they're not going to date you
Right.
is the person. And sometimes it's hard to even get that out of men, right?
Right.
Sometimes men will give you a million mixed signals. This guy is giving you the gift of telling you, he says, we're now in friends that date situation because we both still like each other, but he doubts the potential too much to commit. If someone is telling you, I doubt the potential
Yes.
too much to commit, the only thing that you can do, I know it seems like you have a lot of other options with this person. The only thing that you can do is stop seeing this person.
Right.
That is the only solution to your problem. You wish there were any other solution, some sort of solution that keeps you in contact, that keeps you dating, that keeps the door open. If someone is telling you, and that's a gift, the gift that they're telling you that it is too much to commit,
Well, here's the other thing.
you should leave.
Do you want that to be your story? Do you want to hear your husband, your future significant other, whoever that may be, husband, wife, whatever, to be saying to someone, well, at first we were hooking up and then we were in that friends who date but might not like each other phase. And it's like, you don't even want this.
Right.
This isn't what you want. You want, and I want, everyone wants. I think that this is something that's underrated. You want to be like, I've met people, you go to those weddings where it's like, they went on and on and on and were dragged to the altar. And you're like, and my biggest fear is that. I don't want to be the guy that's like, fine, we'll do it now.
Right.
I guess that's where we are in this thing. You know, and it's like, there is better out there for you. This person's
There's going to be someone excited to see you.
Right.
To date you.
No, we're friends that date.
Right. And it's not your job to convince this person that he should get to know you and then
of evolution.
It is annoying. I understand her frustration though, because it is annoying to have someone be like, yeah, I'm down to spend time with you. I'm down to hang out once, twice a week. I'm down to, I love to sleep with you, but I won't I won't commit to you. So it's like, what do you think it is to be in a relationship? Why don't you just do that, fully go in and then leave if you don't like it? Fully, because then men don't want to fully leave. They want to be like half in.
It's funny. Like I'm thinking about this. Like when I started doing comedy, like I was like, I'm lazy about I'm lazy. My general nature is lazy until I want something.
That's exactly what I've told you. There's no such thing as lazy. It's unmotivated.
Right. And this
when
guy
you're motivated, you're not lazy.
Right. This guy's unmotivated. Because he's like, I got everything I'm looking for from this.
Yeah.
And, I thought about, I would have, you're the opposite of lazy. You go and do all this podcasts, you do these shows every night. And I'm like, No, I like doing those things. Not late, you know, like and then I remember when I was selling life insurance, I was like, I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. I was like, I felt this like malaise. Like I felt like I was like, you know, I felt like I was goo. Unmotivated. But I was like, why can't I just like muster it up? And, you know, same can be said for relationships. Like no one's lazy, you know, like if they're going to like, you know.
Right. And I also think, and I mean, I guess this is like, I'm not sure if this is an unpopular opinion or a popular opinion, but if you're the kind of person that's putting up with the shit of someone saying, I'm telling you I'm not going to commit, to bring it back to our Matthew Hussey episode, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to be doing. If you're the kind of person who's like, okay, on to the next.
Hey, this was fun. Well, I think it's the pressure thing. We talk a lot of, you know, it's like, well, if this doesn't work out, what will happen next? It's like, let's start with what's in front of our eyes.
Right.
What we see is someone that's going, you know, we can be friends who go down on each other.
Enticing. Enticing, right.
Let's do an awkward encounter.
All right,
ready?
let's do it. You want to read it?
Hi, J&J. Love this one. Love the podcast and all you do for us, you up listeners. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Welkies.
So let's get into it. About 2 years ago, I had a situationship with a guy for about 2 months. We'll call him Joe. Joe and I agreed that we had amazing chemistry, that the sex we had was some of the best, if not the best sex we have ever had.
It's funny, like, she's like, we agreed. It's kind of like if someone told you, if someone was like, this was the best sex that I've ever had, like, right? Like, what would you say?
I've had better.
What would you're right? You would never,
No
would
way.
never reply that. So it's
Never.
like she's like, it's funny the assumption that because she feels it. This is the best sex we've ever. If you told someone that and they didn't say me too, they would be the worst person.
Especially
in the world.
men do this.
What
I'm
do
not
they- what do
gonna
they
like.
do?
I'm swimming with the cum current.
Okay.
So I am not going to go
Someone says to
against
you,
cum current.
This is the best.
This is the best I've ever had, right? I'll go, of course it is. I've never felt this way in my life.
Right.
I'm going to go with it. I remember one time I
Someone said that to you?
Well, I got deodorant, and the only one that was left was like female Dove deodorant.
Okay.
And I bought it, and then I was like on the road, and then I got and then we like hung out another weekend, and they like saw in my toiletries, they came out of the bathroom with 2 Dove deodorants. They're like, we have the same deodorant. And I was like, isn't that crazy?
Fate.
I didn't say, well, no.
Weren't they
it's all
like-
they had left at CVS. Like I didn't ruin.
They didn't say, why do you have, whose fucking deodorant is this?
No,
That's what
I
I'd
was
say.
just like, this is what I get. It's so crazy.
Okay.
We came at the same time. That's, how many women say that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like we knew each other. It was meant to be.
And you just, I love it. Of course. It's
Crazy.
written in the stars.
Oh my God.
It is funny though.
Anyways, Joe ended up calling things off because he wasn't ready for anything serious. I was super bummed, but I understood where he was coming from and left it at that. Fast forward this past November, I woke up to a text from Joe saying that he had been thinking about me a lot lately and that he missed me. He then proceeded to ask if I wanted to hang out later that day. I enthusiastically agreed because I figured, if anything, I'd be getting a good orgasm out of it.
Okay.
We agreed to meet up later that afternoon, but in the meantime, Joe proceeded to text me the following. Him, you still have health insurance, right? To which I replied, what the fuck are you talking about, laughing face emoji? His response, I'm just making sure because I'm going to fuck you into a coma.
Ugh.
Such an aggressive line.
I thought he missed you.
Right.
I would have been like, I thought you missed
What
me.
kind of a way? You're gonna need a feeding tube after this.
He's gonna change your urine bag.
I'm gonna fuck you so hard. You're gonna rub your breasts and you're gonna find a lump and you're gonna think it's cancerous. I'm gonna fuck you into oblivion. I'm gonna fuck you into hospice.
Your mom's gonna be crying hysterically when she finds out.
Picture this. Your brother and sister are going to have to come visit you in the hospital. They're going to say the last words to you. It's going to be so fucking hot. Your mom's going to come and put your baby blanket on your body. Your mom. I'm gonna fuck you so hard. Your dad's gonna go to the priest and ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? Take my life. That's how hard I'm gonna fuck you.
This guy knows exactly what he's doing.
Candace can't look at us.
She's so embarrassed by us.
It's such a fucking aggressive text.
Into a coma.
A coma? I'm gonna fuck you so hard, you're gonna miss the bedpan when you try to pee in it.
What kind of porn is this guy watching?
I'm gonna. Yeah, what is wrong with this person?
Alarming.
This cheesy line did unfortunately work on me. That you women.
Okay, here's the thing. Cute or creepy.
Right, it's a thin line.
And if you're into the person, she was like, this is hot.
Right.
If I was not into someone and they texted me that, I would call the police.
I'm gonna fuck you into a coma.
I would have to bring a gun.
Right. I'm gonna fuck you so hard. There's gonna be no medicines that you can use. You're gonna have to go out to China and get some herbal medicines to try and treat the disease.
This is absurd.
Okay, I'll stop. He started it.
He did.
I immediately got excited and was ready to go. An hour later, Joe arrived, and we began a hot and heavy makeout session. I then started giving him a blowjob, and to my surprise, he came within like the first 2 minutes.
Best sex you ever had.
Right? I am not surprised at all. He's revving himself up. They had this great sex. He's thinking about it all day. He was hard since 3 p.m.
Thinking about her in a coma.
Yeah. I'm gonna fuck you. This didn't discourage me because Joe was pretty good at bouncing back in a short span of time to satisfy my needs. However, what did discourage me was what happened next. After Joe came, he hopped out of my bed, went over to my light switch, turned off all the lights in my apartment and the TV, and announced, nap time!
That's exactly how I would do a nap time, too.
That's how you do it?
Turn off everything.
Oh, everything, yeah.
Make it cold, dark.
Announce nap time?
Yes.
Nap time!
Done that to Mike. Nap time.
It's time.
Right.
To which he then laid back down in my bed and passed out snoring for about an hour. I was left stranded in the dark in my own apartment, naked and unsatisfied.
This is ballsy.
I mean, he...
Ballsy.
Nap time! Starts rolling out a mat.
Middle of the day?
Drinking his milk with a straw.
Oh, my God.
I was so annoyed. Eventually, I had to physically shake him awake. So essentially, I guess I was the one who fucked him into a coma.
It's true.
Sleep coma, that is. He ended up leaving after that and never even apologized. I suppose this is my own fault for letting a situationship slink his way back into my life. But I guess I was just really horny that day. Anyways, I thought you might enjoy this, a bizarre encounter. Thanks for all you do, an unsatisfied bitch. What do you think?
It's rude.
This is as old... This is a tale as old as time.
Walk me through his mindset.
I'm horny. Hey, what's been happening?
Nope, it wasn't, hey, what's been... I miss you.
I miss you.
Boulder.
Now she's texting back. Things escalate very quickly. She's a friendly. I miss you, followed by friendly text means I'm in.
Yeah.
And then he says, I want to fuck you into a coma. No, do you have health insurance?
He lays out his intentions.
Yeah, well, and you know, her answering, why, you know, even her answer, what the fuck are you talking about, with a laughing face emoji? That laughing face emoji was the come on in, and he goes, I'm gonna fuck you into hospice, and
she's like, I have Aetna.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No copay needed.
And
that's it. That tale as old as time. Then he comes and he goes, nap time, and he's out.
You give a man an inch.
He takes
a mile.
Yeah, that's it.
And I guess the moral of the story is, I don't know.
Don't blow him first.
I guess she had a good time.
He would have came in 2 seconds if they had fucked. I don't know if it would have, changed anything.
I mean,
Make sure he goes down on you.
I'm talking about unmotivated. This guy was motivated. He got exactly what he wanted from this encounter.
If he had said, "I'm going to eat you out into a coma," then that's the time you go ahead. You go, at least.
Right. Yeah, you should clarify.
Right.
Lesson learned. That's the lesson learned.
How about coma? Wow. Let's do another.
All right, let's do another one. Hey, J&J, longtime listener, first-time writer. I'm 35, single, straight, female.
What up?
I spent a good chunk of my adult life with my ex-fiance, from 17 to 31.
Whoa.
It's a lot. We even had a daughter together when I was 23. So
Ew. No.
gross. So you can imagine my 20s and early 30s were the epitome of the suburban soccer mom life. PTA meetings, room mom duties, you name it. I've done it. And all while being a good 15 years younger than the other moms at the fancy private school. But when my ex and I split ways in 2020, I knew it was time to focus on myself. I needed to heal and grow before even thinking about diving into another relationship.
Eat, pray, love, bitch.
So I took some time to work through my past traumas and baggage, all while juggling my career and being the best mom I could be. Sounds great.
You're killing it. You're out of a sitcom.
Of course, I didn't completely shut myself off from the dating scene.
Fucks.
There you go. I had my fair share of fun with some rather interesting characters, mostly athletes and other guys who were more about the thrill of the moment than anything long term. About 6 weeks ago, the most bizarre shit ever happened. A super famous rapper had a concert in my city, and my girlfriend and I ended up at a party the night before his performance where I met and hit it off with the rapper's lifelong best friend. Like, I like how that would be like how you would introduce yourself if you were the lifelong best friend, to like tangentially make yourself more tied to him.
Right.
Not just like the rapper's friend. Like,
No. I've been here
the
forever.
rapper's longtime best friend. He's like
Right.
his fucking entourage.
Right. I'm not one of these
Johnny
other...
Drama over here. Yeah.
Right. I'm not just a regular entourage.
This is someone
guy.
who's trying to have sex by proxy
Right.
of their very famous rapper friend.
Well, I guess he doesn't want to seem like a hanger-on. Like,
Right.
I've been here forever.
Lifelong
like,
best friend.
lifelong. You're right.
That's the you say men never use the term best friend.
This is it.
except in this kind of scenario.
If it's going to get you laid,
Lifelong best
lifelong best friend. Here's the other thing.
friend. Attached at the hip.
She also does something very funny and female. She's like, something so bizarre. The most bizarre thing happened after I was fucking athletes and random men while being a mom. Like, this rings hot chick
Yes.
to me, this email.
This is in line. This
You know what's
guy,
crazy? I met a rapper's friend. Oh, you,
after years of dating, it's not like she was like after years of dating accountants.
Right.
Like, this guy is everything I never knew I was looking for. Kind, generous, respectful, you name it. He's flown me out to several cities to meet him while they're on tour. Is it Jesse Metcalf? We go on dates. I go to shows. We do the whole. Does this guy have a job? He's just going on tour with his friend.
right. Who is he to the rapper?
Just his lifelong best friend.
Right. I want to know. I kind of do want my entourage hookup to have a job in the entourage.
That's
yeah.
not just like best friend.
Yeah. If he's the lawyer, if he's the accountant,
Right. This makes sense.
the money manager, the agent, okay. But
This is a
I'm
little weird.
assuming he has some sort of gig.
I would hope.
Yeah.
And he's not just flying. Otherwise, he's just a groupie. All right. So he's flown me out to several cities to meet him while they're on tour. We go on dates. I go to the shows. We do the whole stay up all night and talk thing we do early in relationships. I will also add, we didn't even kiss until like 3 weeks in.
This guy fucks before he kisses.
Look at that.
Okay.
There are nuances to this whole thing. He's basically nocturnal. He's getting home from the studio or God knows where at 4:30 a.m. when I'm getting up to go to the gym. And just the whole famous rapper lifestyle thing takes a bit of getting used to. But I look at it like the whole, if he wanted to, he would sentiment, but in reverse. This man has access to literally any woman in the world, and he's calling, texting, and putting in the effort to date me. He must be interested, right? Feedback welcome on this point. What do you think, Jared?
No, I disagree with
Disagree.
this completely.
Wrong.
Right. That is like that. It's a bad perspective.
Okay.
It's only a perspective that will get you hurt
Right.
in a more
I could see
hurtful
where
way.
you would get this perspective from.
Sure,
Like, he
I'm
could have
judging him by
anyone.
his actions,
Yeah.
but the idea that he could have anyone, you know,
Right.
you are someone who he's attracted to and wants to fuck, and you know, as they
Little
say,
effort.
it costs more to hire new than it does to retrain the old.
It's true. That's why Jared's the head of our HR department.
That's right. Yeah, I'm saying this is
Yeah.
an economic principle.
No, it's true.
So the idea that like he could have anyone, no. Either he really likes you or he hasn't found anyone and you fit kind of the
Do for now,
fun, you know, like you go on the trips, you have fun, you're easy to talk to, you're a cool person, the sex is great. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't like you. I'm just saying like
doesn't mean that he likes you more because he could have potentially other options.
right. You're not Cinderella.
Right. So here's the thing. While I'm all about embracing the unexpected, my friends and family keep urging me to focus on finding a normal guy. But what if I don't want that? My daughter's almost a teenager and in just 5 years she'll be off to college. I'll only be 40. I don't want more kids.
Ew.
What if I want something different? Something a little more exciting? Am I setting myself up for disappointment or am I just daring to dream a little bigger than most? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks for all you do. Champagne dreams or dating nightmares?
So we think that Champagne Dreams is a reference to Champagne
To Drake?
Poppy. Yeah, I really guessed at the end of that one. That's his nickname.
Just because
right?
they say champagne?
It's his Instagram handle.
I know,
but that's
but,
why I
like-
was like, I'm proud that we got that
would
reference.
know that. I barely did.
No, the other reference in there is Meek Mill, but I'm pretty sure this is about Drake. And the person I was
Or not
referring
Drake,
to,
but one of Drake's lifelong
one
best
of Drake's
friends.
lifelong best friends. And then Shay Mitchell is her partner is also part of Drake's entourage and like works with Drake directly
Oh.
because of
Are they
their-
still together?
Shay Mitchell and her guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Like he's like the father of her children, and
Okay.
she's spoken about how the whole group like is constantly in that party scene and like how she doesn't let that affect her anymore.
What does her husband do?
I think he's part of like the creative team. Like he does something with videography, I'm pretty sure.
And I think they all
Lifelong.
do have jobs in this group.
But
Okay.
it's pretty much like, yeah, I'm not gonna make a started from the bottom reference, but like I feel like
Started from the bottom.
it was right there.
well, it's like
Started
I feel like he
LeBron,
hired
not the whole
everybody.
team.
Maverick
fucking
Carter. There's a whole
LeBron
group,
has
you know.
Rich Paul that he grew
Right.
up with and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you think of this scenario? I have some thoughts.
My thought, I mean, I've discussed this before. I was always said my lifelong dream would be to date as a 40-year-old mom with kids who doesn't want any more.
This was my exact first.
She's describing the dream.
right. She's
Right?
got the kids. She's got a life that she's like sussed out. It sounds like
Yeah.
She even references the private school, so like their things seem to be
I love
financially
this.
okay.
Because it's like seems like she had this kid at 23. You really miss your entire 20s of doing
Right.
shit like this where you're just completely fucking around. To me, I'm like, go for it. Unless she's like looking for something super committed and stable and serious, which is not doesn't sound like what she's describing. This sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, I don't think she's describing that she wants something serious. Here's the one thing I didn't like in her email.
She wants to know if he likes her.
But I'm saying like, yeah. Am I setting myself up for disappointment or am I just daring to dream a little bigger than most? That sentence tells me her whole mindset. There's disappointment in everything.
She wants this to be like a committed relationship.
And maybe it will be, but you're not really in tune with what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're okay with that, he gets home from God knows where at 4:30 in the morning.
It's probably not always the recording studio.
Right. Well,
If I had to guess.
Listen, if we had to guess, there's other things going on. But maybe if you're having fun and enjoying this person, like
If you truly are, and that's the question that only she can answer.
that's all she can answer. But like when you say daring to dream a little bigger than most, like the idea that like this is somehow more of a risk than the person dating the accountant.
It's not.
And it's not.
Right.
It actually is offensive to me to say that. Like it's like the idea that like accountant guy shouldn't be able to like maybe go, you know what, it was nice dating you, but I don't really want to date you anymore. And this guy
She's putting this guy on a pedestal.
total pedestal.
Yeah.
So it's like this is the same as anything else. Are you happy? Are you enjoying yourself? What do you want from this? Do you want a partner who's going to be tucking the kid in at night with you? Or do you like this lifestyle and you get your time with them when you get your time and, you know, you're going to be, you know, and you're in a different phase of life where maybe companionship is different now?
Right?
Then that's great.
Yeah. If that's the case, which I agree with you, her email seems to allude to maybe that's not what she's necessarily looking for.
Right.
But I like that you caught that because I do think that that sentence is indicative of like her kind of like, would you be okay with these behaviors if the guy seemed less cool? Is this
Right.
coolness supposedly is his supposed coolness of being the lifelong best friend of a famous rapper. It's not even like he is the rapper. Just saying. Is that clout? Is that making you settle for less than you would otherwise?
Right. That you're saying, you put it perfectly, because I do think that's an option among options of what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
She either really likes this guy and this is all great. She doesn't care. But she's already questioned her friends and they said you should go towards a normal guy. You're not going to get what you want.
Right.
So they're sensing that maybe you want more than this is giving you.
Yeah.
So that's why they're pushing towards normal guy. But to say like the only way you could be, disappointed by this is because they live this different lifestyle. I don't know. That can be intoxicating. I don't doubt
I mean,
that.
it makes it more fun if you're looking for. I think it's kind of like if she did look at herself and say, "I'm just looking for a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if this turns into a relationship. I don't care if there's any more that ever comes. I don't care if it ends." Then I'm like, great. Then I understand the pedestal of this of like,
right. This gives me everything I want.
This gives everything I want, and it's a little more exciting than dating a
Normal,
lawyer, whatever.
right,
like
lawyer.
there's a little bit more of a like I'm getting flown out. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
there's a little more adventure. There's some famous people around. That's a little more exciting. But if that's not what she wants, then none of this other shit matters. I agree.
Right. And it's okay to say to the guy that flies you out, hey, I'm looking for more commitment here in the way we can do it.
Right. I'm looking for Delta One.
Right. No more Comfy Plus.
Yes.
Let's play some games.
Let's do it.
Red flag or deal breaker. Greetings, J&J. Big fan, longtime listener, jump right in. Red flag or deal breaker. She is a very picky eater. People are entitled to eat whatever they like and have their own beliefs and preferences about what they put in their bodies. But when I dated this woman, it began to slowly grind on me. She didn't like going to restaurants where food could be spicy, like Thai or Indian. Even when we would be at a very straightforward restaurant like a diner, she would ask several clarifying questions to the waiter and ask about basic dishes. To clarify, it wasn't over diet or religious beliefs. She just didn't like most foods. We didn't break up over this, but it wasn't an attribute I missed. Is this a red flag or deal breaker?
I would say it's like a little bit of a red flag. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, but it would be like a little bit annoying.
It would be annoying. I would gain 1,000 pounds. Because
Why?
I would end up having to order everything and no one would eat it with me.
You'd eat out the whole thing.
Right.
She doesn't sound like she even wants to go to these restaurants.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of adventure we would have together. Like
That's why it's a red flag. It sounds like not adventurous person.
Right, and a lot of my like when I go somewhere, I'm like, I kind of want to see what the food scene's like. I've saved 7 restaurants for San Francisco this weekend. Like,
yeah,
I want to go check it out, and maybe it won't be that great, but maybe it'll be great, and I'll find something
I
new.
agree. And even if the person isn't like, oh, I'm I'm as big of a foodie as you, just the idea that they would be like open to trying something would be more exciting than wouldn't need them to like it.
No, walk into the restaurant. Let's have this is a deal breaker for me.
Be a red flag.
Yeah,
because I'm not like the most adventurous eater, but like. I think it would be a little bit of a turn off.
Yeah. It's the idea of like, I won't go. I won't.
Right. For no real reason besides I just don't feel like it.
Right.
I don't want to.
I just don't think I'll like anything.
Right.
Well, why don't you look at the
Give it a
fucking
shot.
menu? Yeah. Let's do another.
At least pretend you're like kosher or something. Okay. Hi, J&J, longtime listener, but first time writing in. Love all your wisdom and had to hear some on the situation. Me, 28-year-old female, had gone on a few dates with a 28 male. We met on Bumble. On our third date, we had a discussion around his dating status. He's very new to the dating world after a serious 3-year relationship, and therefore is looking to take things slow when considering being serious with the next person. I thought this communication was completely normal until he immediately followed up that statement to ask, have you frozen your eggs yet? Although egg freezing has become a mainstream topic among my friends and female peers alike, I still can't help but think this was a bit personal to be asking on only a third date, especially at 28. I've stopped seeing this person, but for other reasons, but would love to get your guys' take on this, especially Jordana. Am I being sensitive or was this question invasive? And when is the right time to ask someone this question? Thanks for all you do. Sincerely, a scrambled bitch.
This is an interesting one.
This was an interesting one.
Because it's funny. It's also, it is in the zeitgeist a little bit.
I've asked you if if people that you've dated have frozen their eggs.
Right. You have asked me, and I don't know. I've never asked.
Yeah.
And
I ask like anyone I know who's like a single guy dating out. I'll ask him if he knows. So I think it's informative to me.
right. And when you've asked, I'm like, I can only assume. I actually assume they did.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and assuming is not the right way to go, but I don't know how comfortable I would be asking.
I understand not wanting to ask. It's a very
right.
Yeah.
I also understand asking. Like, I don't think he's evil. Like when she says invasive,
I think
I'm
the
like,
way he asked it is kind of annoying.
third date is too early.
She's
for
28,
me.
and he goes. I think the saying like "Have you frozen your eggs yet?" to me is
Right.
like when you inevitably. It's almost like because you're gonna need to.
Right.
It wasn't like what do you think about like egg freezing or like you're on the subject of talking about like like your friend who has fertility problems. Like it's like randomly.
Right. There's ways for it to come up that isn't so.
To me, this guy is letting you know I'm not going to commit. So I just want to know like, am I wasting precious years of your life?
Interesting.
Have you frozen your eggs yet?
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. That would be the more maniacal way to.
I mean,
to
she
ask
prefaces it by saying he was in a 3-year relationship, is looking to take things slow and considering being serious with the next person. So he's like,
I'm really not looking to move too quick.
He's asking them. He's asking for himself,
right? Did you put those things in the freezer?
Well, it's like he doesn't. He's getting.
You put away the leftovers.
He's getting ahead of. You've wasted time in my childbearing precious years. He's trying to get ahead of that by you telling him that it's not a big deal.
No, I haven't. Whoop, 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 whoop. He runs away.
I wouldn't be offended by someone asking if I had frozen my eggs. I think yet in that context, that would be a red flag to me that he is not looking to commit and potentially open to wasting my time.
It is so funny that you are making the assumption, which I don't think you're wrong for, that the robots have evolved. That the men know so much about freezing eggs that this is a line of questioning to make sure they could fuck freely. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so funny. Yeah. I don't know.
Have you done it yet?
Yet, I guess, I don't know. I could see an angle where he's asking not to like make sure he's off the hook, just to know. Like, I guess.
Just wondering?
Just one.
It's on his list of date questions.
I don't know.
It sounds like she set it up to show that he's asking for that purpose.
Right. No, I don't.
Why else would he
disagree.
randomly ask that? Would you randomly ask that?
I don't know. No, I haven't.
Right.
So
it's
my
almost
life,
like asking
so-
someone if they have insurance in case you fuck them over.
Hey.
Do you have insurance?
Because
Because I'm going to fuck you into a coma or waste a few years of your life.
Right. It's like, hey, can I drive your car? You got insurance for this? Yeah,
Right.
it would be
a
weird.
little bit,
yeah.
right? If someone borrowed your car and
got
before
insurance,
that
right?
asked you if you had the insurance, you'd be like, why do you want to know?
yeah, why?
Right. Are you going to be playing fast and loose with this situation?
I guess the positive way to look at it is like, he just wants to know that you two can have a kid together. But like, no.
I don't think that's
yeah, I
what
don't
he's
think that is
looking
it.
for. I think it's more my initial instinct.
What's the male version of this?
Um,
Have you been snipped? Have you?
maybe
Not
like
really.
in terms of like why you would what you would ask someone.
You have a good sperm count?
I guess.
I don't know. That would be kind of it, but that'd be it. No, you would
And
never.
as
It would
relates
never
to-
come up in a.
You would never.
It would never come up in any context for a guy in this way.
What if someone asked you if you froze your sperm?
I'd be like, only for personal use.
That's what it is.
In my
for
freezer, in
That'd
the.
be good. Men can freeze their sperm.
Can they?
Yeah.
What's the benefits of it?
The older you get, the more likely I think your own fertility goes
What?
down. You have to be a lot older, but like, there's more problems with older sperm.
This has been.
Are you gonna go freeze your sperm
I gotta
now?
go. Yeah, I gotta start. Gonna start making those ice cube containers or
I
whatever.
think you'll be okay. It's like a little. You got a few years.
I got some time.
Yeah.
Let's do one more.
All right.
What's your take on someone threatening to break up with you anytime you have an argument or disagreement, big or small? I've been dating my boyfriend for 3 years, and he has done this since the beginning, so it's not a new thing. I've told him many times how triggering this is and the emotional damage it does in making me feel like I have to walk on eggshells around him. Now I'm at the point where he says we should break up, and he says he always seems to really serious about it and says it in a meaner manner, not joking around. That I know hours later he'll just go back to normal and not mention it. Thoughts? This is abusive.
This is deal breaker. This is very abusive.
This is horrible.
Yeah. This is like very emotionally manipulative. It's fucked up. If you're gonna,
we should have done this one first and then had some fun. I feel like this is a weird way.
Right.
This is a weird tone for this this episode. This is horrible. You should get away from this guy. It is not a way to talk to each other.
Yes. And pretend it doesn't happen. Here's the thing. You get like one time of threatening to break up with someone, and it has to be the same because you've been fighting about the thing for a very long time and saying, I need you to change this or I'm going to have to leave the relationship. You get one for one thing.
And then you have to leave it.
And then you have to leave it if they keep doing it.
You have to do
that's
good
the
on
only
your
time it's acceptable.
Or have to. You should. It would be best to make good on your promise. I understand why someone wouldn't. It happens. But
I can understand why someone would one time say, this has been an issue for a long time. If it doesn't change, I'm going to need to leave.
Right. But that's, you're even saying it rationally. Like to just bring it up randomly like it's a fire alarm.
No,
like,
that's abusive.
This is horrible. Yeah, I will run.
Especially
from this
after
guy.
I've told him many times how triggering this is and the emotional damage it does, making me feel like I have to walk on eggshells around him. You got to get out.
It's time to go. And he's looking to control you. That's the move here. He wants to know. It is the same as a dog whistle. Now he has you under a certain type of spell. It's this is bad. This is no good. This is sadistic. It's just not a good way to go. And this is the problem with I think this is the issue with using buzzy terms to diagnose things. Like we call something gaslighting that's kind of on the edge. And then you get fearful of I don't want to use gaslighting as a term. They didn't even write that in there. We've gone past the point of gaslighting. This is gaslighting.
It's really bad.
And it's bad. Mm-hmm. So I can understand where now you're writing this out in these terms. You go, oh, well, I don't want to say it is. I don't want to be that person that uses the line that everyone's using. No, this is. So, and you should talk to your friends and family, talk to a professional,
therapist,
talk to don't just hear this. And this is a fun podcast. We go into serious topics like this, but talk to people that are close to you. Don't hide this. That's the worst thing you can do.
Agreed. You've got to go. And so do we.
Solve Dating again.
We did it.
Listen to Matthew Hussey on Sunday. It's a great episode. And we'll be back.
Bye. The U Up Podcast is produced by Candace Maniga and Shannon Sassone. Editing by Jorge Morales-Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candace Maniga. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.